I'm Jake, by the way, one of our head SEO managers here at LLG.
I'm Dalen, another SEO manager at LFG.
Yeah, I'm Nathan, focus on PPC and client relations.
And then I'm Marissa, and I focus also on client relations.
Nice.
Sweet. Well, let's start this off with PPC. If Nathan, you can kind of dive into um, what we do for PPC and for family law marketing, and how we amplify family law firms and their marketing efforts to get more leads, and more importantly, to get more cases.
Yeah, sure, guys. I think some of the few big things about family law is that it can be extremely time sensitive. And some of the after hours moments where there's emergencies, that's where you're going to get your biggest ROI. And when we're looking at PPC strategy, those after hours are oftentimes where law offices are not open or they're not taking their calls. So it's a really big missed opportunity. There's a lot of different segmentations and how you can approach family law. There's many, many different types of keywords. And so that does segment into SEO, how there can be a wide variety of keywords that are driven by SEO blogs that we can utilize in PPC to have as landers. And that is a huge part of how you can pick out a specific strategy. And you do not need to spend as much as in other lucrative or more competitive niches where maybe spending 50,000 in a large market is basically the bottom. Here, you can usually spend around somewhere between 2 to 10K as a moderate budget and spend a little bit higher in the more competitive markets. And that's where you're going to see a good positive return and get a decent saturation and impression share within that niche. So I think that's an important little bit of a sector, but we have a decent dashboard here that covers the different segmentations of the different types of family law that you can go after. And the CPCs vary tremendously. So it's really important to find out the conversion rate and also the revenue generated from the case and kind of do the math backwards and focus on your ROAS to your CPC costs. So if your ROAS is generally going to be around 4 to 5x in this niche when done correctly, it can go up to maybe 7 or 8 over time through SEO. And so when we look at that, you want to find the sort of like value in the different niches that you can focus on to obtain that. So, for example, divorce is definitely the most contested and difficult niche to cover. So, you want to look at different ways to kind of get there. In divorce, for example, it's going a little bit higher up the funnel. So, utilizing SEO, it's a little bit more preliminary. If somebody's like thinking about getting divorced, as opposed to emergency situation where they're immediately wanting to call you at 12 at night, some kind of incident has happened, that would be a higher CPC. So, thinking of it that way strategically is how you would get that better ROAS. If you guys want to take over the SEO side now.
Yeah. You mentioned how divorce is so much higher than these other practice areas, and really where that CPC and ROAS comes into SEO is what we've learned is, and how Google works is, if you have a very well optimized family law website for your law firm, and optimized meaning it's built SEO strong, it ranks well, and let's say we're really trying to push for those divorce leads, and we put in those keywords structured into that website. What we found out and how Google works is the better the SEO, the lower the cost per click. And that's really where we strive in the SEO department is we get with our clients, we figure out what strategy do they want, or what kind of leads and cases are they looking for. Are there particular areas of law that they want to grow in, and then from there we build out their website, and we get them ranking very high. That way, when they start pushing PPC and Google ads or any other campaigns, it uses our SEO or the client's SEO to get that lower cost per click and a better ROAS. You have it?
Yeah, and I would just say the main thing, that sets LLG apart and like what we kind of pride ourselves in is like listening to you, listening to the client, and making sure that we um, focus on those areas that you want to focus on, whether it's divorce, child support, alimony, asset, property distribution, whatever it may be. We're going to really put a focus on those specific areas, if that makes sense. And not only that, we're going to focus on the specific geographical area as well. That's also important. So, one question I have for you, Nathan, um, how would you say we are able to make sure clients are getting the most out of their ad budget?
Yeah, so it kind of ties back into the SEO variable Dalen just mentioned. That quality score is the number one variable that will reduce your costs. And SEO is really the engine for that. If your SEO is optimized, that's going to really index well with Google. And if your quality score is good, generally you are going to be able to get featured in more auctions on PPC and specifically the ones that you want to be in. On top of that, Google is going to reward you by lowering your CPC. Generally, Google does give this advisory that a higher quality CPC will reduce, I mean, a high quality score will reduce your CPC by up to 50%, and vice versa. If you have a poor landing page, that is not an optimized experience for a user, it can increase your CPC by up to 50%. And that's a big difference, not only on the upfront cost per click, but obviously your conversion rate and thus your ROAS, which is really what we're interested in here, is bringing in that revenue for the client.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's obviously the end goal here is to get our clients more cases. That's why we exist.
Yep.
And that starts from SEO, and through SEO, strong SEO, we build powerful PPC campaigns that target those keywords we're looking for to get those cases. And if we can do that for half the price as as your competitors, it's a home run. It's a no-brainer. It wouldn't make sense for us just to run PPC without optimizing your SEO. Um, Otherwise, you're going to be playing just the same game as your competitors who are doing that same exact thing, whereas you can spend half of what they're spending and get the same results, if not more.
Right.
Yeah, it's a war of attrition, as it's often noted in our office. The idea is that larger companies have a much bigger budget, and so they're able to get away with doing things like dynamic key inserts and only having one landing page. And even though that doesn't index well, they can afford to do that. So they save a little bit of time of putting up that upfront work to building out that SEO. And they're able to get a slightly lower ROAS, but in the end, they still make out money. So they kind of push out a lot of the smaller law firms. And that's why it really pays to do that little extra legwork up front. And oftentimes it's hard to do that in-house. And so that's why, having an SEO agency, be outsource that to them and have them do that is something that not only pays for a better conversion rate up front, but over time it kind of compounds, which is that long-term benefit.
Dalen, I have a question for you. So let's say a family law firm comes to us, they're interested in working with us. What would you say from an SEO standpoint would be the first thing that we
Yeah,
do?
so whenever we sign a client, we do what we call an onboarding and a whiteboarding as well. And what that entails is we get to know the client first and foremost. We get to know what they do, what makes them special, what they're looking for. Once we have all of the information that we need, we make a game plan, and this is where the whiteboarding comes on how we want to structure their website. And that means what keywords are we going to be using? What is their, uh, their tagline? How are we going to structure their homepage? How are we going to structure their child and parent pages, their landing page? We go down to everything all the way to, the SEO title and a meta description to alt text and images. So that's where our whiteboarding comes into play. And it's a process where we found most efficient to make sure that every client gets the best SEO in the entire industry. I started working here almost a year and a half ago, and I first came in and uh, they did a little, we do things differently. It's not what we were taught in school. And at first, I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense. But um, after a couple months, of doing how LG does it, you see the proof in the pudding. You see the actual SEO benefits and how well our clients rank
Yeah.
compared to competitors. And that's just saying we know what we're doing. We have a method of getting a great quality score for our clients, and that starts with understanding the client, what they're looking for, and creating that whiteboard, that process for their website and SEO campaigns.
Yeah, and I would say our SEO team is very much about the details. We really dot our I's, cross our T's, and make sure that everything is in a row throughout the whole entire process. And so you can rest assured that we're going to be very much in communication with you if you decide to go with LLG throughout the entire process. This is for you. We want to get you cases in the door more than anything, and I will say that having an in-house team here, like we all work very closely with each other, so that is a big deal, for us here. And also, I would say like every single page of content that you're getting from us here at LLG is handwritten. It is written by our writers here, and it's highly optimized for SEO. And so, yeah, a lot of the pages that we have written do rank number one on Google on the first page. So. Yeah, we would.
I have a question for Nathan.
Yeah,
Kind of similar question to what Jake asked me, but once we, finish the website, a website's SEO, and that part of a client's project is completed, and we provide you guys with landing pages, what is the first process of PPC that a client would start to experience or go through?
Yeah, so the onboarding process with PPC generally is going to look like it's a slow build up. We don't try to push the client to spend. We don't make our revenue off a client's spend, which is fairly common in the industry. We actually don't charge any fee for PPC. So we're focused on the client's long-term benefit. And so we usually generally start kind of slow. We look for the landing pages and the SEO blogs to generally index and start improving their rank. And this kind of ties into one point right here is when we try to do our PPC, we're looking for local searches that go into deep detail. For example, it could be family law or child custody in that specific city. And we go as far as like covering the metropolitan area or the local bigger suburb cities, for example. And we want those to index and then create ads that are specifically for that location, that geolocation, that type of family law. And we want that page to index well. And then as that goes on, maybe about after 30 to 60 days, that's where we start pumping in a little bit more money. And then we try to have our campaigns run and continue running and then build out laterally because that's how that campaign can stay in its own kind of silo without a lot of modifications, and it can optimize accordingly as it needs to. So we don't want to be changing our budgets around all the time or changing the targeting or changing the copy. Doing that type of excessive ABCD testing creates a lot of missignaling for the algorithm in Google.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very insightful.
that's good. I would say one last question. This is kind of for all of us here. We'll start with you, Nathan. How would you say the PPC side of things complements what we're doing over here in SEO? And then after you speak on that, we'll speak.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, all the things we mentioned already do, complement each other. But I
Right.
think that it's a lot of it's the approach of most agencies. They might do one specialty over the other, and I think here we realize that in the competitive legal space, you cannot get away with doing one or the other and see the
Right.
best results. And so we really try to marry the two together. It's almost kind of like a symbiotic relationship. Like I just said with the advertising, we don't do advertising first and then wait for landing pages to index. We kind of work in unison as we're both kind of building up. That's the priority. for us. And it's just like the SEO on your guys' side, the way we approach advertising is the same way. We want to have the exact same keywords and the headlines and the descriptions as our ranking in, your H1 titles on the SEO page. And that way we'll achieve the best quality score that way. And we're really mindful about how we are spending on our side of the PPC. We want to look at how we can get your best cases for what we're trying to target for you, and that's exactly the same blog that we're making. So we're working together symbiotically as a team, and that's generally how we approach it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly where I was gonna go. Not to,
Beat you to it.
yeah, not to, repeat what we've been saying over and over, but
Yeah.
SEO is the easiest thing to complement PPC. I mean, it really comes down to getting a good quality score and making sure that we rank well and we know what we're talking about when we're writing, content. We want Google to know that our client's law firm website understands the subject and understands the keywords that we're targeting, and in return, Google lowers our CPC, through PPC and our campaigns, because we know what we're talking about. Google trusts us to uh, help people that are searching for a family law firm, or maybe needs legal counseling in a divorce. And so they direct that towards uh, law firms that, know what they're talking about. And so uh, when we build strong SEO, we can get more cases, and in return, everyone wins. Yeah, thank you guys for all joining today. Again, if you guys want to learn more about PPC, legal leads PPC process, or our SEO process, or really anything, feel free to call Nathan, who's head of our PPC, or Jake and I, who's in charge of SEO. Even our CEO is up for a call anytime you need, as well as Marissa. She is great at what she does. She's client relations. I see her running around all day helping people out. Again, we're we're open to hearing any questions, or you want to learn anything, feel free to contact us.
Always here for you. Yep.
All right.
Cool.
That was a bit rough, guys, but
Yeah, that's all good.
we'll learn as we grow. All right. Thanks, guys.
That was good.